Hello and welcome back to the Diverge Podcast and Stage 2 of the 2025 Momentum Medical Scheme Cape Pioneer Trek. Cape Pioneer, presented by Biogen. As you can see, the weather has deteriorated somewhat here at Louvain after yesterday's 24, 25 degrees Celsius, which felt hotter. It started warm and then got pretty cold today, but the racing was red hot. PYGA Eurosteel took the stage win in the men's race, and in the women's race, Efficient Infiniti Insure doubled up, won their second stage of the event. And let's dive right into it. For the second day in a row, the trails of Louvain were pretty cut up, pretty dusty, and we spent more time in them today. So it made it tough going and made it important to be at the front to avoid mechanicals and punctures and crashes, because the rally that had been through Louvain's dual tracks over 2 weeks ago really has left sort of big chunks ripped out of those trails and churned a lot of the surface into fine dust. So it's a powder, and then underneath it, it's ruts and rocks, and you just don't know what's down there. So being able to choose your own line was pretty key today in those early parts of the race. Grenier Beckers was one of the riders who found out to his disadvantage when his front wheel slipped out from underneath him in one of those sections. At the front, no mechanicals, no punctures to speak of amongst the main guys. They all kept it pretty clean. Managed to get through the really difficult part, the first 20 kilometers, get up over Duivelskop. 5 teams went through the first water point together. They were the yellow jersey wearers, overnight leaders, Tristan and Travis Stedman of Toyota Imbuko Specialized ChemChamp. Managed to get through that one this time. With them were the second place overall team, Honeycomb 226's Marc Pritzen and Wessel Botha, as well as the third place overall, Toit and Keegan Bontekoning. PYGA Eurosteel were there, of course, as well, Jaedon, Terlouw and Michael Foster. And the Terlouw Waste racing team, the number 1 team from Terlouw Waste, were there as well, briefly, and then they dropped away on the lower slopes of the Duivelskop climb. Up near the top of the climb, Toit and Keegan Bontekoning had to let that group go as well. But as you will hear Keegan explain, they were pretty confident that they'd be able to close back up later on, which is exactly what they did. Going through water point 2 at the 50 kilometer mark, those 4 teams then, the 4 teams minus Terlouw Waste were together. Insect Science, the Toyota Imbuko, Honeycomb 226s, and of course PYGA Eurosteel were there. Then it became quite tactical. No one really wanted to work. Arnu kind of rage rode on the front at a steady pace, but it was also clear at that point that Keegan was the rider struggling the most on the homebound leg of the journey in the final 20 kilometers or so of the stage. Arnu rode on the front into the headwind. As they came through the little Paardebond pass back towards Louvain and exited the gravel roads, PYGA Eurosteel attacked. They took the briefest of advantages underneath the culvert and into the little climb into Louvain. On that climb, Travis Stedman started to lose distance as well. So Insect Science had been distanced already. They quickly lost a minute or so as Keegan started to cramp there. He had to backpedal, was looking down at his cassette as if it was his cassette, but he later confessed no, it was just his legs that were giving him problems. Travis as well, is sort of, still adapting to mountain biking, having spent the majority of his young career racing on the road, initially with that Q36.5 development team, the now defunct Q36.5 development team. And he doesn't really like those technical climbs, the rocky climbs. You can see that sort of took his toll on him when they got back into the rocky stuff in Louvain, even though it was just a brief climb, still hurt him a bit. And PYGA Eurosteel managed managed to take advantage of that, as did the Honeycomb 226s, Marc Pritzen and Wessel Botha, then really trying to drive home their advantage there to try to claw back some time on the men in yellow. Coming around through the single track and onto the last kicker, Michael Foster went first. He went up the road. Jaedon Terlouw boxed clever, sat on the wheels behind Marc Pritzen and Wessel Botha, waited for the perfect time to strike, and then when he struck, he managed to ride away quickly, bridge across to Michael, and they won the stage. PYGA Eurosteel won the stage by 5 seconds, so not a massive margin, but still a good stage win after yesterday's travails when they lost an hour with Foster's bad puncture, which had forced Jaedon to ride back with a tyre, with a wheel for him. So good day for them. Not going to make up for the fact that they're out of the general classification, but still pretty good to win a stage, and they were really stoked with their efforts. Tristan, Nortje and Travis Stedman had paced themselves pretty well through that single track and up that last climb. They managed to limit their losses to just 30 seconds to the Honeycomb 226s. So going into stage 3, the midpoint of the race, they lead by 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Pretty handy lead there. Insect Science were 4th on the day, lost a little bit more time, but it's nothing to be too concerned about because they did gained another 6 minutes or so on their nearest rivals for 3rd place, the Summer Place racing team of Ignatius Dupré and Herman Fourie. So, a tough day for Insect Science, but still not the end of the world by any means. And they're looking forward to maybe coming good later on in the race. As per usual, I spoke to the riders afterwards, and we will start with some nice long interviews today. Tristan Nortje, first of all, talking about his day. Then Marc Pritzen, a great interview with Marc, also talking about the difficulties of switching from the road to mountain biking, and the physical differences between the two. It's not just fitness, it is a whole body experience, mountain biking on these rough roads and rough single tracks of the Klein Karoo. And then after that, Keegan Bontekoning, and finishing it up with the stage winner, with Jaedon Terlouw, also spoke really nicely about their difficulties yesterday and the enjoyment they took out of today's stage win. Tristan, tell us about the sandy and rutted first part of today's stage.
Yeah, that first 30Ks was dusty and actually reminded me of Cape Epic there in March earlier this year. It's actually so scary because you literally can't see anything. But yeah, we rode the first 20Ks in front, and then the last 10, 15Ks of that section we were caught like third team, and third team. Yeah, if you're third team down there, it's super sketchy. You literally can't see anything in front of you. So yeah, just close your eyes and hope. But yeah, managed to get safely through there.
And then coming into the second part of the course, where it opened up a bit onto those gravel district roads, looked like it got a bit negative and quite tactical. Arnu ended up on the front setting the pace.
Yeah, we had a plan on, I know there's that last 4-minute kicker, like 10Ks to go, but yeah, as soon as we started hitting that open roads, it was block headwind, so yeah, there's no need for anyone to ride except, so yeah, we tried something, and then on this last 10, 15Ks, the race just split up.
And then tell us what happened there. Looked like Travis is, just the last couple of days sort of got to him a bit there.
Yeah, no, I think he managed it well. He lost the group at the bottom of the climb because he had to unclip. So yeah, he unclipped, and then we got back at the top. But yeah, he just lost the wheel a little bit. So yeah, we didn't lose too much time. There's still a lot more days to go. But yeah, he didn't. He just had a bad moment, and then we nearly got back.
Looks like it's about 25 seconds or so to Honeycomb. So with a 4 minutes and 6 second lead coming to the stage, nothing to really worry about.
Yeah, exactly. I thought we would have. It looked like they were strong, but I also think they blew up a bit towards the end because they really went hard when I saw we dropped. But we managed to effort well and got back towards the finish. And I know this last 1K towards the finish is all uphill. So if you don't have legs coming into the finish, you can easily lose your 30 seconds. So I think we got a little bit of time back on this last 1K.
And then looking ahead to tomorrow, another day where it's probably going to be quite tactical, but as we've seen last year when Jaedon had a fall, there can also, things can happen.
Yeah, that first, it's always a tactical day, but yeah, that first 20Ks, 30Ks is always, it's also rocky and Jeep track, so yeah, you have to always be on the right line and check where your line is. So yeah, that first 20, 30Ks is going to be important, and then the last open roads in towards Oudtshoorn is always negative racing, but yeah, hopefully there's some teams that want the stage when they can make it hard, and we'll see what happens.
Marc, tell us, you feeling a little bit better today? You look more comfortable on the bike?
Yeah, it feels like I'm riding my own bike again. Yesterday I felt a little bit of like a stranger in the group and on my own bicycle. So yeah, slowly but surely, hopefully this is a trajectory that will just continue building.
Tell us about today's stage. It was really dusty out there. Visibility was a significant issue.
Yeah, I think today was luckily the group went quite small quite quickly. Yeah, which was also again quite a surprise how quickly we got a select group going, luckily, and then it's not so hard to fight for position. But yeah, even in the group that we were in, it was quite contest to get to the front, especially with the dust on the descents. And then yeah, towards the end, I mean, the wind and the soft sand really made it challenging, and it was a good day.
When Travis dropped off the group, you guys had to go all in to try to gain back as much time as you possibly could.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just chipping away at it every day and just see what we can do. Maybe Travis just had a bad day today and he'll be back tomorrow, but we have to capitalize on those bad days, just like they did with us yesterday. So, yeah, every day is a new day, and tomorrow we'll try again.
As a man who's made the switch from the road to mountain biking yourself, you know exactly what Travis is going through, and you know how hard it can be on your body. It's not so much fitness, it's that all over beating.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just the legs; it is everything. I mean, on the road bike, your pedaling is quite smooth and it's quite consistent. On a mountain bike, it's everything but that. With all the rocks and getting over everything, leaning forward, it puts quite a lot of strain on your lower back. Something that I also haven't really gotten to terms with. But yeah, it is a big transition. It's one that I'm also still, a little bit figuring out, and it doesn't just happen overnight. So it's something that's going to come over the years, and hopefully on my end at least, I'll get stronger as well.
Looking forward to tomorrow and what's likely to be another tactical day.
Yeah, I think if we look at what the weather did towards the end of today, I think the weather might play a big role in tomorrow's stage. And I think it's going to be quite an exciting one, knowing there's a big day after that as well. So people might try and conserve a little bit. But Wessel and I are up for the challenge and going to go out swinging.
Keegan, the start of today's stage was really hectic, very dusty, difficult to see. Must have made conditions very hard for you guys.
Yeah, we actually didn't really know where we were going, and then we kind of figured it out from previous years. But yeah, being quite a big bunch, it actually stayed together for quite a while, and through that tight, kind of windy stuff with big sand, it was a bit of chaos. And once we hit the climb over the top and then back on the other side, it was super loose, probably the loosest we've seen in a really long time. A lot of dust and dry, so yeah, it was a bit chaotic.
And you started to sort of lose the group a little bit there towards water point 2 as well, and has put in some efforts to close it back down again.
Yeah, no, so going up that first climb after water point 1, Arno and I got distanced, but we just rode our own pace. We kind of knew it would likely come back together like previous years, and yeah, that's what happened. And then after water point 2, kind of stayed together on the dirt road until the attacks went 10Ks to go, and yeah, didn't have the legs to go with.
Arno did all the work there on that dirt road as well?
Yeah, kind of our plan was to keep the pace up a bit so that we avoid the attacks, which we know isn't really strong suit. So yeah, Arno just kept the pace quite positive, didn't let anyone go, and then Jaedon and them took a big kick just before we turned underneath the N9. So yeah, it is what it is, kind of played out how we expected it to.
What do you think is going to be how the rest of the race is going to unfold for you? You guys riding your way into it, or how's the body feeling?
Yeah, we're going to have to obviously look after our third place on GC as main priority. So looking after the bike's going to be really important. That's probably where the biggest issues, time gaps would happen. Other than that, just ride our own race. We know Jaedon and Michael are really strong, so they're going for stage wins, and we'll have to see how that unfolds if they take other teams with. But we're kind of doing our own race and see how it happens.
Tomorrow's stage going up over this little bit of the Kamanasi and then towards Oudtshoorn. The first part of the stage can be really dangerous. You've seen the rally cars have ripped up those roads as well, so it's going to be another stressful sort of start to the day.
Yeah, no, obviously it's really rough over that koppie. Arno and I have actually punctured there on the other side I think 2 years ago and spent the whole day chasing. But once you're over that koppie and on the kind of open roads, could be quite a bit of a bunch race. And then going into Oudtshoorn, we're probably going to see a sprint finish. See how tactics unfold. Normally, every year comes a big group together there. So maybe wind may play a factor, crosswind, and we'll have to see how the tactics unfold.
Jaedon, talk us through yesterday's disappointment quickly. Obviously, it's tough to come into a race, put so much hard work into getting ready, and then to have one moment of bad luck cost you an hour.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's part of racing. We try to handle it as well as what we could in the moment. Obviously, there was a bit of panic as soon as it happened and trying to fix it, but eventually we realized it's not going to get fixed. So I think then we just try to make the best of the day and still enjoy it, look at the views and get to the finish in a reasonable time and not get destroyed by the sun. But I rode to the finish and it was a good day out, and we were able to do a good day or ride a good day today.
Tell us about today. You guys were obviously very strong. We saw that in the early stages yesterday already, but today up there with the front bunch the whole time, managed to control the race in the key sections as well, and then make the move right at the end.
Yeah, it was super dusty today, but we, as you said, we just try to stay with the front guys and we try to make a few moves at a few different places. None of them actually ended up working, unfortunately, but luckily we were able to outsprint the guys at the end.
Tell us about this run into the finish here through the single track and then up that nasty hill into the headwind. It's not an easy finish.
No, that was a proper headwind now up the finish. Luckily, I was able to sit on the Honeycomb boys and let them take the win for me because I knew that they needed to get the GC. So Michael just rode up the road as he usually does, and then I was able to kick at the end and get away from the guys.
And feels good to get a stage win as well.
Yeah, a bit of redemption. So looking forward to the next few days.
In the women's race, that's kind of been the trend at the Pioneer that one team takes the pink First Ascent jerseys and then kind of dominates from there on out. And it looks to be going that way again this year, as you would probably expect it would, given the class of Vera in particular. Obviously, there were some doubts about Samantha Saunders' fitness following her injury, her broken arm. But Sam has looked really strong, and they've been pretty controlled. Today, they rode with Sarah Hill and Steph Wohlters for the first sort of 35 kilometers or so. Then Steph hit her rear rim, going through quite a nasty little ditch. She punctured there. They had to stop to bomb that, and that allowed Vera and Samantha Saunders to get away. They rode on for the rest of the day on their own, adding another 6.5 minutes to their GC lead. Behind them, though, there was a little bit of excitement as Bianca Hoare and Danielle de Toit, had a strong day, a better day than yesterday. Bianca said they saw Sarah and Steph up ahead of them on the road when they got into the gravel road section, and they managed to reel them in and pass them by. Sarah and Steph then had to dig deep to limit their losses, which they did to just 69 seconds. So they'd started the day with a 3 minute and 6 second advantage over third place, and now that advantage has been shrunk a bit, but still handy. It's now 1 minute 57 between second and third. So that's going to be probably the battle to look out for in the women's race, is that battle between Efficient Infiniti 2 and Safari Essence Titan Racing for the second spot on the podium. First spot, though, You don't want to say it's sewn up because there's still 3 days left to go and anything can happen, but it's looking good for Vera and Samantha. So here are those women's interviews as well, starting off with the African Continental Champion, Vera Laza, and then Sarah Hill, and rounding it out with Bianca Hoare, who is as classic as always. Vera, tell us about the early part of today's stage. It was really dusty and pretty tough to see where you were going.
Yeah, I gave this name the name Dusty Queen. It was hectic out there. You wanted to ride in the front or 10 meters behind the person in front of you. Sam actually went down at one point because she just couldn't see and she went into a rut and just took her out. So you had to be so careful, and it was like a left, right the whole time, and we were still a nice group together. So yeah, it was definitely watching and being careful out there.
And then you guys were together until Steph punctured. You said you heard her puncture?
Yeah, it was a little ditch, and I was in the front. I went through it really carefully because I knew this one would be dangerous, and then I just heard douche, and then I looked back at Steph, and then we like helping them in a way as kind of teammates, but we also can't push our luck. So Sam and I then continued, and from there we were on our own, which was actually not so pleasant because the whole way coming back home was on an open gravel road with headwind. So yeah, not so much fun out there.
And then the weather turned as well, started to get misty and pretty cold too.
Yeah, then the last single trail, the last and the only single trail, we were always blown off the single trail because the weather just comes over the mountain and just blows over you. The mist came, so quite a special feeling, like coming from such a hot day and then into the mist and cold and windy.
And then, you guys have got a fairly handy lead now on the GC. What's the plan for the rest of the week?
Yeah, we'll have to take it day by day, but I think tomorrow is a more open gravel roady kind of day. Also a very long day, so maybe we can stay in a group a little bit longer, but also see how we feel and how the others are going.
Sarah, another tough day out at the Cape Pioneer.
Yes, today was hard. It felt like one big rocky sandpit. Louvain is very exposed, so we rode quite carefully, always wanting to save the tires, but unfortunately we did get a rear flat. So we had to fix that and we lost our teammates. But props for them to hold on to that first place. And we unfortunately lost that second place on the stage, but I think we retained overall. So we will go try again tomorrow.
Tell us about when Danny and Bianca went past you and you knew you had some chasing to do.
Yeah.
With difficult conditions for chasing in as well into that headwind.
Yeah, Bianca is an absolute machine on that headwind gravel road. I gave it everything I could in the front, but I just simply didn't have enough firepower. So when they came past us, it definitely was a surprise. Like I thought we had them. And it just goes to show anything can happen in a stage race. And when they came past us, they gave us a lack of hiding. So we dug into the red zone to try hang on to them, but then lost about a minute and a half overall. So yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow because every day is so different.
And then tomorrow, probably a bit more of a tactical day, especially if you can keep the group together for longer.
I think tactically it changes every day. Also depends on how the legs are feeling, what's the kind of terrain. We are in a bit of a situation where do we push or does someone hold the pockets just so we can get a little bit of a break. But again, we did that in the beginning and then we got caught at the end. So we might have to think a little bit more carefully about what we do tomorrow.
And then the day after that, of course, the Queen stage after Swartberg Pass. So you're really starting to think we conserve a bit of energy for that as well.
Yeah. We do play the long game when it comes to stage racing. But Swartberg in itself, we practically climb from the get-go. And I'm very impressed with Steph's climbing legs this stage race. So anything's going to happen.
Bianca, a better day for the team today. Yourself and Danny worked really well together, especially towards the end of the stage into the headwind.
Yeah, I think the harder it got, the better we got. So, lots of people complained about the rolling district road and the wind, but we really enjoyed it.
Tell us what went through your heads there when you got past Sarah and Steph and you knew you were in the hunt for not just second on the stage, but second on GC.
Yeah, I think we got on the district road and then Danny was feeling good also, so it was like, let's give it a shot. And then you could see the little ants like in the distance, so we were catching like group by group. And then I think I saw them and I was like, I'm actually just going to pretend it is them. And, and then we actually only saw it was them, came around the corner. So yeah, it was a nice finish for us, really.
It's down to a minute and a half now. You looking to take that back tomorrow, or are you playing a bit of a longer game?
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we'll see how we feel. I think we'll get stronger and stronger throughout the race. So yeah, it'll be cool. They must be scared.
Tomorrow, we're expecting more cool weather. 16 degrees predicted for Oudtshoorn. Unseasonably cold, but yes, probably from this bit of a cold front that is blowing through at the moment. Probably won't rain on the Oudtshoorn side. Might rain here in Louvain overnight, which could settle the dust down a bit as well. The first part of stage 3 will be rocky, will be rough, will be dusty unless it rains, because we are back in amongst the rally super stages for the first 15 kilometers or so. And then we head to Oudtshoorn via a new route, via Paardenbond and Chandelier Game Reserve, which of course is no stranger to hosting mountain bike races. The start venue for the Momentum Medical Scheme Atquas Extreme, presented by Biogen, as well as the grand finale of the Cape Pioneer. So into Chandelier tomorrow, always the site of punctures and mechanicals as well. So the riders will have to be very wary of that. And then they finish by going a new way into Oudtshoorn around the northwestern side of town, around the back of the airport, behind the army and the hospital, the army base and the hospital, and into town that way. So it's could very well still be a sprint finish. I would expect teams to try to take advantage in Chandelier and get away there with 18 or so kilometers to go. It's a good place to go solo and not too far to go on your own, especially if the wind continues from this sort of easterly direction. But yeah, traditionally stage 3 has been a sprint day at the Cape Pioneer. So I wouldn't be surprised if it once again comes down to a sprint finish onto the fields of Langenhoven Gymnasium. Last time we were there, Insect Science won out. Arnaud de Toit knows that finish very well, the swooping downhill into Langenhoven. He has that dialed, so it looked to them to, also a little bit of redemption there for Arnaud and Keegan would be good for the race as well. But stay tuned to the socials and Diverge's social media as well for updates from this year's race. Thank you very much for tuning in, though. Until tomorrow night. Cheers.